It's that time of the year again. Fall is here and the weather is getting colder. We finally get to layer up and wear our favorite outfits. And you know what usually happens during this season?
Apple puts out a brand new phone, and I have promised myself not to make a new series of iPhone videos this year for my channel, and I'm gonna dive into that why later. But I got my hands on an iPhone, I put it through some tests, I even recreated a Hollywood chase scene with it that I can't wait for you to see, and I want you to be the judge when you look at that chase scene, the quality of that video. My opinion, I'm telling you if you're a content creator, for the first time I'm saying this phone is a force to be reckoned with, and later in this video I'm going to talk all about that. But before I do that, let's you help me savor this coffee and take Hero for a walk, and hopefully it doesn't rain, all right? Let's go. It's not as bad over here. When I was at home, it was not raining, but I told you guys I'd be vlogging more, so a little bit of rain was not gonna stop. Let's get to the topic. So here I am talking about a newly launched iPhone. This is my third consecutive year creating content for the iPhones, and I kind of had promised myself that I wouldn't do this again because, you know, as a cinematographer, I never imagined that I'd be talking about or using an iPhone as a cinematic tool. Now, some of you folks at home are like, hey, what do you call yourself a cinematographer? You never made a movie before. Fair enough. But ever since I've been 17, man, I've been dreaming about capturing cinematic images. So for me, I guess I get to call myself that, all right? So as a cinematographer, you know, you always imagine talking about the top-notch gear in cinema, and iPhone's definitely not one of them, right? But when you start a YouTube channel, you soon realize that people love the idea of smartphone filmmaking, and you realize it's a trend, and as a YouTuber, you tend to gravitate towards stuff that gets you views, right? But it's a double-edged sword. It might lead you away from your niche or what you're truly passionate about, but that's a whole nother discussion for another day. So after 2 years of having a YouTube channel full-time, I've created several smartphone filmmaking videos simply, to be honest with you, to make friends with the algorithm. And lucky for me, these videos got, you know, hundreds of thousands of views, and some of these brands and companies were kind enough to send me all this related gear to smartphone filmmaking. I was flattered, but at the same time, I kind of felt stuck. I was like, you know, I don't want my channel to be known as a smartphone filmmaking channel. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward to when the iPhone 15 Pro was about to be announced, and to be honest with you, I thought this would be the year that I and smartphone filmmaking would part ways. So come September 15, Apple's new event, the Wanderlust event, is happening, and I remember I was at the gym, I was listening to it live on my headphones, and you know, I was just kind of doing my thing. I wasn't super excited about it. I was just like, hey, yet another iPhone, there's gonna be USB-C, whatever. But to be honest with you, there were two words that I heard during that event while I was working out. And hearing those two words made me reconsider creating videos with the iPhone again. And no, I'm not gonna show you some B-roll of me working in the gym right now, listening to the Apple event and pretending that this is all happening, because that would be fake, right? What the hell?
So as I was saying, I was listening to the Apple event on my headphones, and I wasn't expecting to hear anything exciting. All of a sudden, they start talking about the camera specs of the iPhone 15 Pro, and all I hear is log for video and external SSD recording. And that is all I needed to hear.
I just got here, and you're not gonna believe this. There's already a huge amount of people waiting, trying to get here as early as I should, but or apparently I was too late still. But let's hope if I can get this iPhone. Alright, so here's the deal. If I want to showcase a new device, I need some inspiration. I can't just film in my studio or go in my backyard or my neighborhood. That's just not how I operate. And to be honest with you, it can get a little costly. It's not the smartest way to go about creating content. But what can I do? That's how I've always been. I always need something new, a new story, a new theme, a new location, something that'll get me going. Or perhaps something that I haven't done before. I went to Paris to work with a ballet dancer for iPhone 13 Pro. And I followed the kickboxer around for a month and a half to tell his story with the iPhone 14 Pro. And for the iPhone 15 Pro, I needed a whole new source of inspiration. Recreating movie scenes has always been on my bucket list, and I figured I'd probably do it with my Sony a7S III if it came down to it. However, when I heard about the log feature on the iPhone 15 Pro, I said, why not give it a try? To be honest, the ProRes on the iPhone 13 Pro and the 14 Pro, they were pretty much identical, and to be blunt, they weren't that great. That being said, when it came to the iPhone 15 Pro, I wasn't just gonna take Apple's word for it. I needed to test it myself, and that's exactly what I did. I got the phone, I created a video where I really put this thing through its paces, and let me tell you, it blew me away. I was incredibly impressed. I mean, I took it to deep waters, I tested it at night, and I'm telling you, this thing came out like a champion. I will leave a link for you right up here to go check that video out. But after that testing, I knew this is the right phone to test my chess scene, and I wanted to do this thing right. So like I mentioned before, as equal as a location or a new idea that needs to inspire me is the subject in front of my lens. About 2 months ago, I was at IFA Berlin. I swung by the DJI booth, and you know they have these filming sets where you can point the cameras and get a cinematic look in your cameras. And they always bring models, and while I was filming the film set with my Sony a7S III, I couldn't help but to notice that this gentleman looks outstanding on camera, and that's when I met the actor of my iPhone 15 Pro project. To keep it short, Armin and I linked in Munich to shoot a chase scene with the iPhone 15 Pro. He brought his friend along to chase after him. Turns out this gentleman named Dominic was the perfect bad guy character for the chase scene. Let me show you a snippet of the chase scene that we shot in Munich. Now you can watch all of that chasing. I will put a link for you right up here and also one in the description. I won't do a full breakdown on how to shoot a chase scene, perhaps on another day if the request is there. But today, I want to talk about why every content creator needs an iPhone 15 Pro. You see, 90% of what you see on this channel has been filmed on the Sony a7S III that you see right there. And I've been on a hunt recently for a second camera, and I was looking at the Sony ZV-E1, which costs around 2,600 euros. It's full frame, it's tiny, it's a perfect match for a second camera and a vlogging setup. I also needed a lens to go with that, so I was looking at the new Sony 20mm, which cost around 900 euros. So altogether, I was looking at a number at 3,500 euros. And I was ready to make the purchase until I started playing around with the iPhone 15 Pro, guys, no cap. I know some of you guys are like, hey Sean, you can't compare an iPhone to a full frame camera. I know that, but guys, hear me out, all right? As a second camera for vlogging, let's talk about the cost. It cost 1,400 euros. Geez, that's expensive for a phone, but let's stay focused. 1,400 euros, you got a phone, and you got a camera. I'm left with 2,000 euros in my pocket. This thing that I'm recording on right now looks great. It's easy to carry around. It's a lot less conspicuous when you're filming in public. Listen, my wife pretty much films me all the time and she's petite. And any camera setup I give to her, after 20 minutes, it becomes pain. And this phone right here fixes that problem for me. And I can vlog with it. I can pretty much take it wherever I want. It's in my pocket. I use this wonderful carbon tripod that K&F Concepts sent me.
It's super compact, super lightweight, and it's perfect to mount an iPhone on it. You can find the link in the description to purchase this tripod. And this whole setup is so easy to use, and just look at the quality for yourself. It's not too shabby. Now, I use the Blackmagic free app on the phone. I have control over all the camera settings. I slap a little ND filter on when I'm outside. I get to keep my shutter speed in check. I can shoot 4K from 24 frames per second all the way up to 60. And I am good, champ. I'm happy with this phone and the camera capabilities that it gives me. Now, I haven't even told you about the best feature yet, all right? I'm recording right now externally, straight from the phone to an SSD. That is huge. If you have experience shooting ProRes with the iPhones, just transferring all the ProRes stuff with the Thunderbolt to your computer is a pain. I had to do it overnight. This thing fixes all of it. I don't have to necessarily transfer anything. I can just edit from the SSD and it's not a big deal. And if I wanted to even go ahead and transfer the files with the USB-C, it just does it in minutes, which is amazing. Now, I don't know if I've convinced you enough, but if you read the comments in the previous videos that I've made with the iPhone 15 Pro, people are starting to believe me because I'm testing it and I'm showing the results. I really believe this phone is finally a phone that we could consider as our second cameras. Now, remember when I say this, our second cameras. I know that when you look at this, it looks a lot better, but this thing is a professional camera. But for a second camera and something that you can use as a phone, to be honest with you, it's not a bad deal. Hey, you're still here. I think I made my case, wouldn't you say so? The iPhone 15 Pro is a no-brainer. And right now I'm telling you, if you're a content creator, you have no more excuse not to get up and create content. Sean Alani.